Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of Greater Talk, the podcast where we don't just speak, we shift, we stretch, and we strive towards becoming the greatest version of ourselves. I'm your host, Amy Young, and this is a space where purpose meet perspective and real conversation lead to real transformation. Whether you're driving, relaxing, or taking a walk, thank you for allowing me to be part of your growth journey today. I'm super excited about this episode. Today, I have the honor of sharing the mic with someone who doesn't just know me personally, but who walks beside me in purpose and partnership. Gregory Young is not only my husband, but he has so many titles. He's a devoted father, exceptional leader, a man who stands firm in his faith, integrity, and legacy. He's the kind of person who leads quietly, but powerfully. We're diving deep into building a legacy while being in love, while leading with love, and becoming one while becoming greater. Welcome to Greater Talk. So excited to have Mr. Gregory Young as a guest. Greg, behind every brand, there's a real emotion, real life, and real sacrifice. And that's exactly who Gregory is. He's the founder of Greater Self, and he is my husband. We have had him on the podcast before, but we're super excited to have him on today. Welcome to Greater Talk, Gregory. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited in the direction Greater Self is going. Yeah, and I'm ready to get to it.
Awesome. The title of this episode is Becoming One While Becoming Greater, Building Legacy in Love Plus Purpose. So that's exactly what you're doing. And I'm going to jump right into the questions if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So while you are building this brand greater self, what has been the hardest thing about building greater self, not as a business partner, but as a husband? Because you're working side by side with me.
I would say probably just the everyday of it. It's some things that I want to do that you may not want to do. But at the end of the day, it's all about agreement. And I know I'm more of a head first person, and you more of a hey, let's sit back, let's think about it, let's look at this, look at that. And I'm more just, hey, let's just go. Which it kind of equals out though, right? Because you can't just jump head first on everything, right? And you do need to look at the numbers. You do need to look at the dynamics of it. So yeah, I would say that probably would be the hardest part of it.
We're night and day. Even in our relationship, we are too, but it balance. So, like, I'm the type of person that, and I don't even know how I became this person, but like, I'm the person that wants to make sure it's a strategic move, and you more like, let's just do it. Why you scared? So, I do agree. I do agree. But we move with purpose, on purpose, and it works at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, Greg. So it leads me into my next question. Okay. What have you learned about me and about yourself through this journey that you didn't expect?
Um, I would say I'm gonna start with me. I've never been the social media type of guy. I've always been the guy that I'm gonna get it done, but I don't need the world to know. But doing Greater Self, it has brought me more to social media, more to opening up, letting people know kind of what I do and how I do it. But it's been really good though because people need that, right? So I guess I was kind of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I would say I learned that about myself. I have a lot of information, a lot of good ideas that I normally would keep to myself, but since starting Greater Self, I have let them go. I would say about you that I didn't expect. I know you always been this bubbly person, no matter if it was a family event or a corporate event. I know you could work the room, but I've learned through your speeches that you could connect with almost anybody. You connect with people on their level, whether it's the CEO or the janitor. And I think that's pretty dope.
Thank you, babe. Look, I turned into wife and not interviewer. I appreciate it. You always been so like you don't overly share seriously. And you have really taught me like don't announce all your moves. So I appreciate that. that peace that we have just moving in silence as a couple and also with greater self. And I'm not able to work a room grid to the ability that I have been able to if it wasn't for you. Like you the person that I go to for all my speeches like the night before and about my planning the night before. So you always give me that feedback. You are very honest. You tell me, "Hey, it don't make sense. Go back to the drawing board." So I just appreciate having a business partner, but also a husband that really cares and that really pours and just be authentic about the feedback that I get. So I appreciate you, babe.
Oh yeah, man, you know what it is.
All right. So I'm going to change gears a little bit and you might need, some time to think about this one, but I want to talk about the fatherhood and emotional legacy also that you're leaving behind with greater self. You're raising sons while leading the family, supporting a brand and redefining what it means to be a present man. What kind of emotional legacy do you want to leave for YJ and for Dunn? And as also as a husband with greater soul.
Um, well, I say it all the time. Um, Stand up for what you believe in. It's okay to be vulnerable, but also be a man. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. That's just becoming greater. And I also let my boys know, YJ and Dunn, look, nobody's perfect. The world's not perfect. You're not gonna be perfect. All we can do is try. I talk about mind shift a lot. So it's at different ages, your mind should shift. It's different stages of life. But if your mind never shifts, you'll stay stuck. And you can ask both of my boys. I preach that to the T. Your mind has to shift. If I could say a legacy that I would leave, it would be mind shifting. Because if your mind shifts, everything else is gonna fall in place. As a husband, the legacy I would like to leave. Now I think most time when people get married, you think that you have to be perfect or you have to try to change this person. But no, before you got married, that person was still a person. You can work together to make the relationship better, but you can't just come in and change it. And I would leave that with you, Amy. You know this. I let you be you, you let me be me. But at the end of the day, we sit down and if it's a problem, we come up with a solution. So yeah, that's what I would want to leave.
I like that. Especially about the mindset shift, because like you stated, even with greater self and even in our household, we talk about mindset shift because, I am a firm believer. I did a lot of studies. I've taught, workshops on limiting beliefs. And a lot of those beliefs stem back to our childhood, is what we've been told. I think we both were raised in a generation that you do what I say do and limit the questions because that is viewed you talking back, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this with that mindset, how we were raised to think that way and brought up that way, what part of your childhood do you think shaped your view of manhood and how has that view evolved?
Mm, that's a good question. I saw so much growing up, but I always saw my dad be a man. He always stood on business. Like, I don't know, even if we were having car trouble, I would see him out there working 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just to get the car ready for the next morning to be able to go to work or go to school, whatever we needed to do. But I think that grew on me. And hey, as a man, this is your responsibility to make sure everything works, everything is flowing. And I think that's how I kind of live my life now. I just want to make everything flow, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I would say this. This is, I guess, a conversation that my friends and I have, like a girls' talk. But I really believe that the man that raised you is the man that you normally fall for. My dad, I saw how hard he worked, and that's something that I needed in a husband, which you do. Like, that's what I admire. And you always say, I make it easy for you. But that's what I saw my mom do is make it easy, try to just lighten that load, but to also to speak to the evolving part, I saw her make it easy. I saw her working, doing, adding to it as well. But also the evolving part is like the man work hard, but also the man pour back into his family. And that's what I got with you as well. I also view that, hard work is hard work, but also I don't have to work the hardest to be the most successful in the room too, if that makes sense. Like I used to think the harder you work, the more you achieve. No, the more strategic hard work you do, the more you achieve. So I think that's part of evolving. But I also definitely think that what you saw growing up, you have implemented in our lives too. And I appreciate that because you work hard. I would just grade yourself just every day with your 9 to 5. Well, 9 to whatever, because that's how you work. Um, let's move over to the silent support, the power of standing behind the scenes. Like I said, you always been more of the quiet type, but you're quiet, but you make the most noise in the room, if that makes sense. Like people still gravitate you, even when we have our events. Like you're more behind the scenes, but everybody's gonna come talk to Greg. Everybody know Greg gonna be there to support. We know that. So you're not always front and center, but your presence is felt in everything. How do you manage the tension between supporting quietly and being seen?
I think when you doing what you love and walking in your purpose, you don't have to be seen. If it's pitch dark outside and you see a light, you're gonna be drawn to that light, no matter if you want to or not. And I think that's kind of how I am. I feel like I'm a light, but I don't have to be the brightest light. I'm still gonna get done what I need to get done. And look, I just want everything to run smooth.
You always told me, you said, Amy, I'm gonna start this movement, but you're gonna be the one, probably because of my personality, that just run with it. But have you ever gotten to a point that you felt like, okay, everybody knows Amy associated with Greater Self, and you felt overlooked, even though you're handling social media? Y'all, it's not me you talking to. Greg handles the social media. IG is him growing it from one person to whatever you see the followers are now. The quotes that are posted is Gregory. So, how do you handle that?
Well, that ain't no problem because everywhere you go, every time you speak, you gonna let them know that you are the co-founder.
Yes, sir. That's my
But
man. My man is the founder. I let them know. You right.
yeah, sometime in order for things to work, somebody got to fall back, right? Because if you got two people in the forefront, you start bumping heads. So I think it works for us. It might not work for everyone, but that definitely works for us. I think you have a more of creative spirit. I'm more the type that's gonna sit back and work the background. So you got more of the bubbly personality. It works fine.
Yeah. So, Gregory, I'm gonna share this. I've never shared this before. I don't even think I've shared it with anyone but you and Janine. I remember one time I had an event. I had people register. One person showed up, and you knew it was gonna affect me. And you bought me flowers, you bought me a card, and in the card you told me, "Do not give up." So, we have had high moments and low moments, and sometimes the only thing that can get you over situations like that, just having one person in the room, you done planned, spent money, is to have faith. So, how have your faith helped you stay grounded while building this brand, both in our marriage and in the mission of Greater Self?
Oh, well, faith plays a big part. Just when you think, "Ah, man, look, Imma give up. Nobody ain't messing with this. Nobody we're not getting a lot of interaction." But it's the real life situations that keeps me going. But I believe that's the part of faith. I could be in Walmart, not bothering not a soul, and just a random person will walk up to me and just tell me their life story, and I give them some feedback, and they'll say they really needed that. But I think that's the part of the faith that keeps me grounded.
I feel the same way. Like, I don't know about for you, but I had a shift that happened, I would say a couple years back. When you first start something, you're so busy worried about how you're going to look to other people or how they're going to receive it. And that shift to me was my faith with God telling me, hey, look, I called you for this purpose. It's not for a show. Who it meant for is who it meant for. And he just started ordering my steps. Like, you know how it is. I went from no speaking engagement to like telling you, I want to get paid for what I'm bringing to the table. And it all happens because of my name being in rooms before we even get there. And like you said, I'll always gonna represent what you stand for because you are my bestie. And but also you built this from the ground up and you helped me in so many ways. We doing this together. Like we building a brand, like two people from Homer now, building a brand where we are pouring into other people and just letting them know there's is hope out there. That you can become a greater version of yourself and you don't have to be perfect doing it. So with that being said, Greg, if you can look 10 years into the future, what would success look like for us? Not just as a brand, because I want to know for the brand, but also as a couple 10 years from now.
10 years from now, I think success would look like knowing that we helped at least one person get over a small part of their journey. A lot of times we look at the numbers and the followers and this and that, but when it boils down to it, are you really helping people? Success would look like somebody walking up to me, hey man, 2 years ago I was going through a really tough time and I heard your podcast and saw one of your posts and it just really helped me through it. That's what success would look like for me. Not saying I wouldn't want to be on a bigger stage or do conferences or take this greater self nationwide, but when it boils down to it, I just want everybody to know that just because you're having a tough time, you don't have to give up. As long as there's breath in your body, just keep going. I always tell you, don't hold on to one situation too long because tomorrow is gonna be something else. But as a people, we have to learn to navigate that. So I would say, and with our marriage, oh man, it ain't really much more I can ask for. We do pretty well as a team.
I like that a lot. I agree. We have a lot of work to do, but we are the two individuals called for the job. Greater Self has really, really blessed me. And I just want to take a moment to let you know that because I don't think sometimes you sit back and just really realize what God placed in your vision and on your heart because you're so used to just being Greg. You're so used to helping. You're so used to being in the background, supporting others and things like that. But remind you that I didn't have this thought. And that's why I know we jokingly said it, but that's why every single time that I speak or anytime that I can let someone know you're the founder, you're the rock, you're the support system, and just being able to just being blessed that my husband trusts me with his vision, that means the world to me. So thank you so much. And I'm going to ask this one question. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What advice would you give to other couples trying to build together, especially when purpose, pressure, and passion are all mixed together? Because that's what we're doing.
I would say sit down, come up with a plan. I would say nobody idea is bigger than the other person's. You have to compromise. Sometimes everything not gonna go your way. But as long as you and your significant other can come to an agreement, I think you'll be okay.
This conversation was more than just a peek behind the brand. It was a reflection of our journey, the love, the lesson, the late nights, the legacy we're building together. Greg, thank you so much for your honesty, for your quiet strength, and for showing up not just for me, but for the mission of Greater Self. To everyone listening, whether you're building a brand with your partner, building it alone, or just trying to figure it out, remember this: growth takes grace, purpose takes patience, and love, and I mean real love, takes work. Keep showing up, keep it coming, and as always, stay greater. We'll see you on the next time. Greater Talk. Bye, guys.
Peace, family.